Shabbat Shalom, everyone, and welcome to Bethel Congregation. We're so pleased to have you here with us. For those in our sanctuary, welcome. For those who are streaming with us tonight, it's always nice to know that you're there and to be together. We'll begin tonight with Yadid Nefesh, which you can find on page 12. As we make our way into the Kabbalat Shabbat service, it's sort of a nice exercise in our minds to visualize the sun setting on the week that was. And so I want to invite you as we transition from a busy week to just sort of give yourself the opportunity to let go whatever it is that isn't feeling like it's filling your soul. Any worries, any unfinished business, if you will, any things that didn't go right, if you can sort of exhale them and create some more space to bring a little bit of joy and Shabbos peace into your life. We'll turn to page 22, moving to Lechuna Ranana Ladonai. Let's sing out a new song to God. Continuing on page 24, Shiru Ladonai Shir Chadash. Coming in, and Yismechu Hashamayim, 4 lines from the bottom of the page.
Yismechu Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim.
Three lines from the bottom, page 24. Ya'alo Sadai.
Ya'alo Sadai, v'chol asher bo Ya'alo Sadai. Ay, 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 Ya'alo Sadai, v'chol asher bo Ya'alo Sadai. Ay, 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 az yiranenu kol atzei ya'ar, 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 ya'alo sadai v'chol asher bo ya'alo Sadai. Ay, 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 Ya'alo Sadai. V'chol asher bo Ya'alo Sadai. Ay, 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 az yiranenu kol atzei ya'ar, az yiranenu kol atzei ya'ar, az yiranenu kol atzei ya'ar.
We turn to page 26. Or Zarua Latzadik. Exult in the Lord, O the righteous ones, and give thanks to God's holy name. Thinking of who it was that extended some kindness to you this week. Who is your righteous one? And where was it throughout the week that you may have done something nice, shown up for someone else, extended a kindness? Reflecting on the week, exalting in those who are righteous. Turning to page 28, Mizmor Shiru Ladonai Shir Chadash. What's our new song that we can sing out to God? What are a few things this week that you feel most grateful for as we go into Shabbos, a day of rest? Middle of the page.
Zameru Ladonai, Vehino, Vehino, Vehozimra, Zameru Ladonai, Vehino, Vehino,
We turn to the middle of page 30, Roman Mu Adonai Eloheinu. Let's exalt the Lord our God.
Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtakavu lehar kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtakavu lehar kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu.
Turning to page 34, Mizmor LaDavid.
Elai, 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 Hiri-la-la-lai. Elai, 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 ha-ra-rai. Elai, 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 Mizmor LaDavid. Shabbat Shalom.
Normally we would continue with a song, so we're going to continue with the song except sung by multiple people, something appropriate for the holiday, the upcoming holiday.
We pause at this time to remember with reverence the yard sites of our beloved departed that are observed today, the 22nd day of Kislev. Berta Bondar, Faye Bradis, Norma Kaplan, Riva Kursin Kogan, Daniel Kushner, Doris Lee Downing, Benjamin Dorman, Bertha Julia Gelblum, Solomon Heyman, Irving Kolker, Marshall B. Layton, Mr. Samuel Levin, Estelle C. Wilson McMillan, Pearl Prince, Doris Rotkovitz, Robert Rubin, George Sack, and Alvin Silverman. Zecher Tzadik Livracha, may their memory always be a blessing. And will those people who are in a period of mourning or observing a yard site please rise and join me in the recitation of the Mourner's Kaddish, which you can find on page 124. Page 124. Yitgadal v'yitgadash Shemei Rabbah. Bi'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael. Ba'agala u'v'zman kariv v'yimaru. Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabba Mevarach le'olam ulme'ol maya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudesha brechu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechamata. Da'amiran bi'alma v'yimaru. Amen. Yehesh lama Rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimaru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimaru. Amen. May your loved ones' memories be a blessing.
We turn back to page 38 for Lecha Dodi, page 38.
שמור ותקול בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד. אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשם ותפארת ולתהילה. לך דודי לקראת חלה, אין שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת חלה, אין שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי היא מכל המלאכה. מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תקילה. לך דודי לקראת חלה, אין שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת חלה, אין שבת נקבלה. Page 40, ימין ושמאל תפרוצי, את אדוני תריצי. על יד איש בן מרצי ונשמחה ונגילה. לך דודי לקראת חלה, אין שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת חלה, אין שבת נקבלה. בואי בשלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה. תוך אמוניה סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה. לך דודי לקראת חלה, אין שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת חלה, אין שבת נקבלה. אין שבת נקבלה, אין שבת
We pause now while still standing as we offer condolences from the congregation to members of our community who have been bereaved during the past week. This week we offer condolences to the family of the late Bruce Abramson, to the family of the late Elaine Brickmeyer, to the family of the late Ruth Horowitz, to the family of the late Phyllis Rubin, to the family of the late Paula Velnick, and to the family of the late Marcia Yumkis. And joining together on the bottom of page 41, we recite the traditional Friday night greeting for those who are in a period of mourning. Hamakom Yanahem Ethem B'Tov Sha'ar B'Lev Zion V'Yerushalayim. May the Holy One who comforts Israel grant you solace in your bereavement. We turn together to page 50 for the Barcho.
Bareku et Adonai Hamevolach. Baruch Adonai Hamevolach leolam va'ed.
You may be seated. We invite up our prayerful reader for page 51. to lead us in prayer. Page 51.
Praise are you, Lord our God, ruler of the universe, whose word brings on the dusk of evening.
Your wisdom opens the gates of dawn. Your understanding regulates time and seasons.
The stars above follow their appointed rounds in response to your divine will.
You create day and night. You alternate darkness and light.
You remove the day and bring on the night. You separate one from the other.
We call you Lord of heavenly hosts. You are our living God.
May you rule over us as you rule over nature. Praised are you, O Lord, who brings the evening dusk.
O mavio, me vilaila, o matil benyo velaila, Adonai Tsebaot Shemo, El Chai v'Kayam, Tamid yimlok aleinu leolam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, Amari v'alavi.
52.
אהבת עולם את ישראל אהבת עולם ומצוות חוקים ומשפטים אותנו לימדת על כן אדוני אלוהינו בשוכנו ובקומנו נשיח בכוחך ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו לאורך ימינו ובהם נגד יומם ולילה ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל. שמע ישראל אדוני אלוהינו אדוני אחד. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם, ושבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך.
56.
והיה
And together in English on page 57, bottom paragraph of the Shema. Therefore, keep these words of mine in your heart and in your soul. Bind them as a sign upon your arm, and let them be a reminder above your eyes. Teach them to your children, speaking of them when you are at home and when you are away, when you lie down at night and when you rise up in the morning. Write them upon the doorposts of your homes and upon your gates. Thus your days and the days of your children will be multiplied on the land which the Lord promised to your ancestors for as long as the heavens remain over the earth. Page 58.
ויאמר אדוני משה לאמור דבר בני ישראל. אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
Middle of page 60.
ומלכותו ברצון קיבלו עליהם משה ובני ישראל לכאן ושירה ושמחה רבה ואמרו כולם מי כמוך באלים אדוני מי כמוך נדד הקודש כל התהילות אוסף אלה כל התהילות אוסף אלה מלכותך ובניך בוקע ים לפני משה צליאנו ואמרו צליאנו ואמרו אדוני אימו לעולם ועד אדוני אימו לעולם ועד ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגלו מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גל ישראל.
We continue on page 63, inviting up our reader to lead us in prayer. Page 63.
Help us, O God, to lie down in peace, but teach us that peace means more than quiet.
Remind us that if we are to be at peace at night, we must take heed how we live by day.
Grant us the peace that comes from honest dealing, so that no fear of discovery will haunt our sleep.
Rid us of resentments and hatreds which rob us of the peace we crave.
Liberate us from enslaving habits which disturb us and give us no rest.
May we inflict no pain, bring no shame, and seek no profit from another's loss.
May we so live that we can face the world with serenity and with grace.
May we feel no remorse at night for what we have done during the day.
May we lie down in peace tonight and awaken tomorrow to a richer and fuller life.
Amen.
ושמור צאתנו ובואנו לחיים ולשלום מעתה ועד עולם ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך ברוך אתה אדוני הפורס סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל הפורס סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל ועל ירושלים.
64.
ושמעו בני ישראל את השבת השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת וינפש. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש. יתגדל ויתקדש מרבה, ועלמד יבלע קירותי וימליך מלכותי, ויקום וביום יכון ובקייד כל בית ישראל, בגלה ובזמן קריב ויאמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבם נבלק לעולם עולם ועלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפעם ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי קודשה. רגילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירן בעלמה ויאמרו amen.
We rise together for the Shabbat evening Amidah, said personally, beginning on page 69.
שלום רב על ישראל עמך ועל כל יושבי תבל. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. כי אתה הוא מלך אדון לכל השלום. כי אתה הוא מלך אדון לכל השלום.
be seated. We continue on page 80.
La 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 la. La 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 la. ויחולו השמיים והארץ וכל טבעם, ויקל אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה, וישבות ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה. ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי ויקדש אותו, עמו שבת מכל מלאכתו אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות. La 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 la. Ivo Shabbat mכל מלאכתו אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו, אלוהי אברהם, אלוהי יצחק, ואלוהי יעקב, אלוהי שרה, אלוהי רבקה, אלוהי רחל ואלוהי לאה. האל הגדול, הגיבור והחננה, אל עליון, קונה שמיים וארץ. מגן אבות בדברו, חיי מתים במאמרו, האל הקדוש שאין כמוהו, המניח לעמו. ביום שבת קודשו, ליבם רצה להניח להם, ליבם רצה להניח להם, לפניו לעבוד ביראה ופחד, ונודה לשמו בכל יום תמיד, מעין הברקות. אל ההודעות, אדון השלום, מקדש השבת וברך שביעי, ומניח בקדושה, לעמד ושני עונג, זכר למעשה בראשית.
86.
יתגדל ויתקדש שם ירבה, אלמד יוודע כרותי וימליק מלכותי, וחי כל ובכל ובחי כל בישראל, ועגלה בזמן קריב וימרו, אמן. יהי שמי רבם מברך, לעולם ולעולמי עלמיה. יתמלך וישתבח ויתרועע ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתהלל ויתהלל שמי לקודשה, ולכל אל אמין כל ברכתה ושילתה, תושבקתה ונקמתה, דם ינן בעלמה וימרו, אמן. תתקבל צלות ולבטון לכל ישראל, קדם ובהון משמיים וימרו, אמן. יהי שלמה רבה משמי וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל וימרו, אמן. עושה שלום במלאב, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל וימרו, amen.
Just before we do the Kiddush, I want to check and make sure that Ariella is not here. I don't see her. I just want to make sure she's not in the vestibule. No. Okay. So we'll please rise together for the Kiddush, which you can find on page 90. Asking those of you joining us, watching the service from home tonight, if you'll please rise as well for a libation of your choice. Again, we're on page 90.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodesho v'avav ratzon l'hinchilanu, zikaron l'maaseh v'reshit, Ihu yom tehilah l'mikrae kodesh, zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim. Tivanu v'chata ve'otanu kidasha mikol ha'amim, v'shabbat kodshecha yahva uvratzon inchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh HaShabbat.
Hi. How is it, Cantor?
Fresh as the day it was made.
You may be seated. We invite up Rabbi Schwartz to share some words of Torah.
Shabbat Shalom. Almost happy Hanukkah, I guess. I do want to acknowledge some of the nice, or maybe it's better to say interesting Hanukkah sweaters that I see in the Berman Rubin Sanctuary. Today at Shul, we had a photo. Unfortunately, we were busy. A lot of the clergy was busy today because we had funerals, but there was a photo. Jill, you still have your sweater on that you wore today? Yeah, it was like, what was it, funny sweater day or something? Just, go ahead, Jill, stand up. What is it? Ugly sweater day. Everyone was dashing in their sweaters? Okay. So just to acknowledge the effort, the effort that goes into that. And the courage, frankly. So, right. So just the Sedra, the Torah portion we're reading tomorrow morning is called Vayeshev, and as we've seen all throughout Genesis, contains a series of well-known stories. It begins with the story of Jacob and Joseph and the coat of many colors, so very, very well-known biblical material. But the portion holds a special place in my heart, and I'll tell you briefly why. It's just sort of a story about sort of my progression into Jewish learning. And I began rabbinical school with what was called a mechina year. That's a preparation year at what was then called the University of Judaism in Los Angeles. And so the idea was, like actually they have for medical school these days, where you might be potentially qualified to enter the program, but you don't have enough knowledge. You need to build up a sort of foundational knowledge base, and then you'll be ready to actually start the program itself. So that was my situation in terms of rabbinical school. And one of the pieces of knowledge, key piece of knowledge actually, that I needed was Hebrew. I really had very limited Hebrew. So I could read Hebrew. I had learned to read Hebrew when I was a kid growing up in Hebrew school. Although my reading was relatively slow, sort of painstaking, my vocabulary was almost zilch. I mean, I almost had no vocabulary at all. And so in order to go into rabbinical school, I needed to have some Hebrew vocabulary. I needed to be able to read Hebrew with more fluency than I had at the time. So I'm doing this Mechina year program, and my Hebrew's getting better a little bit, but not great, and it's not happening quickly for me. And the year ends, and I have, before I start the first formal year of rabbinical school, I have to take a Hebrew placement exam, okay? So I know that my level of Hebrew in May, when the semester ended, is definitely not going to enable me to even pass the exam, let alone get placed into any level of Hebrew for the following year. So there was a woman who was teaching Hebrew at the University of Judaism at the time. She was Israeli. Well, she was South African and Israeli. She had grown up in South Africa and made Aliyah and then was living in the States, and made her living as a Hebrew school teacher. And she was living on the campus for that summer. You know, she was sort of looking for a place to live in LA. And Becky and I were living on the campus as well. It's kind of slow in the summer. And I approached her and asked her if she would tutor me in Hebrew in the hopes that, you know, through that tutoring, I could get my Hebrew up to the level it needed to be. And she very graciously agreed to do that. And we met 3 times a week for about an hour, hour and a half a session. And she said, I want to teach you Hebrew by teaching you Bible stories. I said, that's great. And the first story we worked on was from this parsha, Vayeshev. And there was a phrase, and the reason she chose this parsha wasn't because it was in the summer, so it wasn't in the Torah reading cycle. It was because of the beautiful Hebrew in the parsha, particularly the repetitive notion of it. So if you know this parsha, you know the Hebrew, there are certain words that repeat over and over again, primarily among them the word chalom, right, which is the dream, and Joseph, of course, is the dreamer. And there are phrases in the parsha like this, Vayachalom Yosef Chalom, okay? So beautiful, you know, Vayachalom Yosef Chalom. Yosef is his name. You recognize that's Joseph's name. Vayachalom, you're taking the root, the Hebrew root, you're putting it into a verb form. And chalom is the noun form. So he dreamed, a dream Joseph dreamed, you might say, something like that. And just sort of that lovely cadence of the Hebrew and the repetitive language and the way it was flowing really, for me at least, kind of opened up. It was the key I needed to open up my access to the biblical texts and to be able to at least begin to understand how to unpack them. And if you think about it, you know, it's these small little steps that lead you to larger places, right? I mean, I remember sitting with her that first time, and Vayachalom Yosef Chalom, and it was 30 years ago at this point, 30 years ago. And, you know, looking back, I now realize that was the step that enabled me to one day feel comfortable with biblical texts, and then to sit down and feel comfortable studying a Talmud. You know, it's astonishing, the small gifts that people can give you, and these little windows that open onto very large vistas. You might think of it like that. So one of the things we're doing tonight, we're getting ready to celebrate Hanukkah, but also we're welcoming new members to the congregation. We've been very blessed at the shul this year to have a large number of new members come to Bethel. We feel so privileged to have the opportunity to welcome new people into this community. It's a community that has a lot of history. We have multi-generational families, and that's something we take a lot of pride in. But it's a special privilege when someone's searching for a Jewish home, and they say, you know, Bethel might be the place for me or for my family. We feel so privileged about that. And I guess, you know, what I would hope for our new members, and also for those of you who've been members for 40 or 50 or in some cases 60 or more years at the shul, is that in the course of your connection to this community, to the shul, to these people that we share, that we make this life with, that you have those little opportunities, that something along the way this year, you know, opens a window for you Jewishly, maybe some knowledge that you've wanted to acquire, that you felt you needed to acquire, whatever it might be, and that you find that opportunity here, and it opens this little tiny window onto a beautiful, beautiful landscape that you can walk on together with all of us for many, many years to come. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Again, Kim'at, Chag Orim Sameach, almost Happy Hanukkah. I believe we have a couple of songs from the choir. You're singing high holiday music tonight? Is that what it is?
Yes.
And then Rabbi Sorokin will come up and help us welcome our new members.
Pay no attention to the man behind the bima. We're going to do a couple of songs for you this evening. One is, the words may be familiar to you, but the tune will not be. Hanerot Halalu, which is the prayer that we sing after lighting the Hanukkah candles, by saying that these candles are holy and are not to be used for any other purpose.
Hallelujah.
concert, there you go, is taken from a poem by Emma Lazarus, whose name is familiar from what? The Statue of Liberty, right. Give me your tired, your poor. The New Colossus. So she wrote this poem, and we took some verses of that and set it to music. It's called Kindle the Taper, a lovely melody that was written by Cantor Jacob Singer.
We're intentionally pausing for just a moment. As Rabbi Schwartz mentioned in his sermon tonight, we feel very blessed when new members join our congregational family. And so tonight, as we prepare to bring light into our lives in the form of the Chanukiah and the candles, we'd like to thank and appreciate and acknowledge those new members who have joined us. For sharing your light, we are grateful, and for the journey ahead, we are also grateful. So I'd like to share with you now the names of our new members that have joined between last Hanukkah and this Hanukkah. And if you choose to, at the end, we'll invite those new members to rise. Linda and David Boteach, Claire and Harvey Hoffman, Amy Helsel, Jill Janofsky, Andrew and Melissa Hoffman, Sam and Risa Bruck, Ronald and Carol Scher, David and Michelle Corris, Rachel and Joshua Israel, Michael and Beatrice Kaplan, Mark and Sarah Davison, Howard and Kathleen Zeiden, Sheila Margolis, Sarah Edelman, Lisa and Joshua Goldberg, Ross and Jessica Levin, Jason and Jenna Breaker, Jonathan and Jane Havens, Robert and Susan Klein, Roy and Bonnie Ziegelstein, Michael and Lauren Schuster, Paul and Lana Eisenberg, Lilia and Akeem Gold, Ryan and Leah Zimmerman, Joshua and Kristen Gordon, Neil Kempler and Shoshana Cohen, Seth Rainis, Jean and Katja Cherkansky, Arnold and Monica Sagner, Robert and Linda Baker, Erin Klarner, Hope Bursch, Aaron and Jennifer Toski, Barry Smith, Kevin and Amy Kukler, Michael and Marla Lewis, Rachel and Jason Lieberman, Dory and Daniel Henry, Stephen and Joy Seibel, Robert and Bonnie Garanzik, Bruce and Danielle Shapiro, Mark and Ellen Gordon, Rachel Bob, Brian Granick, David and Marjorie Granick, Jill Stempler, Ken and Marilyn Fuller, Glynis Adams, Jared and Rachel Lamb, Elias and Sarah Al-Najjar, Justin Goldstein and Shani Sher, Adrian Berman, Henry and Phyllis Lukowitz, Eugene and Somia Poverny, Gary and Michelle Krupka, Mark Daniel, Ari and Brooke Larrick, Joshua Rosenthal, and Lisa and Keith Carswile. Welcome to all of our new members, and we'd like to now invite you, if you are new, if your name was listed, to please rise and let us acknowledge you. We welcome you to our Bethel family. I'd like to now invite our congregation to turn to page 844 and to recite this prayer with me, welcoming our new members. I'll begin. May God, who blessed our ancestors, bless the men, women, and children who have recently joined our congregation. May you be granted years of good health and spiritual vigor. May you draw strength from the heritage of our people. As you join with us and participate with us, may our shared ideals and endeavors bring you fulfillment, even as you bring added strength to our congregational life. Happy are we, how good is our portion, how pleasant our lot, how beautiful our heritage. Let's go forward together to serve our congregation, our people, and our God. Amen and welcome.
We turn back to page 118 for the Aleinu. Please rise as able.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כאויי ארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות אדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתנו זו בגביהם מרומים. הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, ידעת היום להשב אותה אל לבבך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים, השמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ ויתחת אלוד. ככתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
Pausing now, we remember with reverence the yardsides of our beloved departed observed sundown this evening until sundown tomorrow, the 23rd day of Kislev. Gertrude Bergstein, Jeannie Brown, Sylvia Cooper, Ann Dubsky, Ronnie Irwin Feldman, Gertrude Gold, David Goldberg, Max Greenwald, Albert Holtz, Gerald Hunn, Myra Jeffers, Beatrice Johanowitz, Albert Katzen, Rose Krieger, Howard Radin, Paul Reamer, David Rosen, Faye Schulman, Rebecca Schockett, Rudolph Schilberg, Leon Weiner, Benjamin Weinstein, Elizabeth Werba, Lena Wool, and Henry N. Zarwitz. Zecher Tzadik Libracha, may their righteous memories continue to bring blessings to all of our lives, together saying to that, Amen. And in solemn testimony to the unbroken chain of faith that links us Lador Vador from one generation to the next, I invite those who are currently in mourning and those who are observing a yahrzeit to please rise as we say the Mourner's Kaddish on page 124. Mourner's Kaddish 124. Yikadal ve'yikadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Ve'alma divrach hirutei ve'amlich malchutei b'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chaye techol beit Yisrael ba'gala uv'izman kariv ve'imru Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'alam u'amei amaya Yibarach ve'yishtabach v'yipa'ar v'yitramam ve'yitnaseh V'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shmei dekudsha breichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nechamata da'miran be'alma v'imru Amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. You may be seated. Our services tomorrow morning will be at 10 a.m. and at 4:45 p.m. Please join us at 4:45 for the bat mitzvah of Ariella Haffen. And tomorrow morning, Parsha study will be online only at 9 a.m. So please join us either in the Zoom or on Facebook Live for that. Sunday services will be at 9:15 and at 9:15 in person and at 5:30 p.m. online only. Please join us tonight after services for an oneg where we honor all of our new members. The oneg will be taking place right through this door where Amanda is waving. Yes. We will conclude tonight. Oh dear. On page 16.
No.
No. I'm going to let the cantor.
With something extra special. I'm going to ask the choir to come up. As the choir is coming up, I'd like to say the Bethel choir is made up of very, very dedicated Bethel members who enjoy making music as well as the camaraderie that comes with that. This year, we had a brand new addition to Bethel's musical family in the person of our new organist, Adrik Aksesak, sitting right over here. And we would like to officially welcome Adrik this evening, even though he's been playing for us for quite a while, with his very own kippah, with his name on it so he can't lose it. You know how these musicians are. So if you'll just give me one moment to rearrange the furniture here. All right. Turn my mic on.
I'm standing high up in Santa Monica, wearing sandals, lighting candles by the sea. I spent Shavuos in East St. Louis, a charming spot, but clearly not the spot for me. Those days are winters we can't ignore, so every year I Rosh Hashanah, I stand in Arizona.
And your kippah way down in Mississippi.
But in December, there's just one place for me. Amid the California flora, I'll be lighting my menorah.
Like a baby in its cradle, I'll be playing with my cradle, standing high up
In Santa Monica, by the sea. I'm spending Hanukkah in Santa Monica, wearing sandals, lighting candles by the sea.
I spent Shavuos in East St. Louis.
A charming spot, clearly not a spot for me. 'Cause these are winters I can't ignore 'em. So every year I cut my hair and I'll get to Rosh Hashanah, I spend in Arizona.
And your kippah way down in Mississippi.
But in December, there's just one place for me. Amid the California flora, I'll be lighting my menorah.
Every California maid will find it playing with my cradle.
Here's to Judas Maccabeus, boy, if he could only see us spending Hanukkah in Santa Monica by the sea.
Shabbat Shalom. Good job.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone, and please join us for the Oneg Shabbat directly through the double doors, and we'll see you there. Shabbat Shalom and almost happy Hanukkah.
I was